It's okay. We got.
Don't say rail buffs. Is that what he said? Yeah,
I don't know what he said.
I'm not a rail buff.
Number 61. We're going to talk about trains tonight. Whatever we talk
Trains,
about, Colorado.
trains,
We're going to talk
trains,
about
and
Colorado dirt.
dirt.
Drink some dirt. On an award. We got this kid over here that knows more than Dad.
Yeah.
I love you. I love you, Cotter. You did a
I'll-
high five with me on the
I'll
show.
Give it
That
one
was
more shot.
fun.
I'm throwing it off to you.
Okay, do your
All right.
thing.
This is the What's Neat show for January the 5th. I lost it. Hi, I'm Daniel Coombs. The What's Neat This Week show, number 61.
And tonight we're going to talk about trains and model railroading and dirt. And we got all kinds of great stuff on the table, plus a beautiful award. So stay tuned for the coolest hobby in the world. Yeah, I like it. The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Bachmann Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmanntrains.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show number 61. That's right, we called it a show. Saturday, January 5th, 2019. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is the best hobby in the world, and tonight we've got a great crew with us. So pull yourself up a chair and enjoy some hot coffee or tea on this wonderful January night here in St. Louis. And tonight I've got with me Joshua Barton, famous Sugar Fire. I always say that. We've got our favorite Daniel Coombs here tonight, and that is so true. DCC Daniel. And look, I've got Jeff Meyer and Connor. We love you guys. In the new news tonight, I'm going to launch right away with James Wright's talking about the brand new Bachmann N-Scale -840CW locomotive. Now, this is amazing in N-Scale. This locomotive that James features on his YouTube channel shows just how great the economy sound system works in these N-Scale engines. They must have used a shoehorn to fit it in there, but it's pretty amazing, guys. What color is my microphone? I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Also, in the news, I understand, Jeff Meyer, you have something exciting from Arrowhead Models on the table tonight.
Yeah, I got for Christmas, actually, from Santa, one of their committee design hoppers in Pennsylvania. It's actually Blaine Hatfield, formerly of Exact Rail. He started Arrowhead Models, and this is their first car. It's a 70-ton coal hopper, and it was a very common car. They had over 16,000 cars. It's not really for my era, but I wanted to support Blaine. He's a good friend, and it's the first car they've done. But I actually did find some photos of one out in California. So they made it all around, and then later in life, they started being used in gravel and ballast service. They weren't just coal. They were originally coal hoppers, but then they started getting used for other stuff in the 80s and 90s. So it's a great-looking car, and actually, it arrived. Blaine might know when to say this, but it arrived. There was minor damage to it, and I told him just to let him know, hey, I'm just letting you know. I don't know if there's a problem or whatever. And he immediately responded and said, I will ship you a new car, exchange it immediately. I told him, don't worry about it. I can fix it. But their customer service is great. So and that's one of the things they pride themselves on, is that they're going to help you get any issues resolved.
That's awesome.
Sounds good to me.
It is a great looking car.
Yeah,
too.
I didn't even
Very
really talk
detailed.
about the model itself. It is up there with any other
Yeah.
car manufacturer. I mean, the detail is just phenomenal.
That's awesome, man. I absolutely love it. It's Daniel Coombs, right?
Yes, it is.
Daniel?
Yes,
It's Daniel, right?
right.
Is he saying that right?
He is.
You know what he does when he says that? He always goes, it's Daniel, right? And then he gives you that chuckle, and you know I'm talking about Lionel
That's
String.
right.
And the reason that I'm bringing up Lionel String, as I alluded to back at the show that we just released Friday, which was just yesterday, that podcast number 60 just came out that we filmed at Caboose. But Lionel won the award for the Best Podcast of the Year award by the People's Choice Awards, sponsored by James Wright and YouTube, and that's the audio podcast. Gentlemen, I would like to announce that we got the award here on the table. table. It showed up yesterday. Thank you very much. We also won the People's Choice Award for the very best video podcast, sponsored by JLWII 2000. Guys,
Round of applause.
this is more fun than the Pinewood Derby.
I remember those days.
It is pretty.
Thank you very much, James Wright.
Thank
and
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you very
so
much.
much to all of the people that contributed their opinions on his YouTube site and readers' comments voting for What's Neat. It was very, very humbling to see that written
Yes.
all over. And it's just, guys, good job. Let's keep giving everybody what they want.
Thank you
but just
very much.
remember that this is your show also. The contributions that all of these wonderful people make showing off their layouts from around the world. They send them to me through Facebook and through email. We also receive them through the What's Neat This Week
Readers' comments.
no, the Facebook page that
Yeah.
we got for What's Neat This Week. You can
Oh, that.
find that. And so if you want to send, photographs of your models and some of the things that you're proud of that we could show off on the show and give you credit for that, again, this is our hobby. Let's all share it together and show some of the really great stuff that can be done in this hobby.
And there's a lot of it out there.
Absolutely. All right, boys and girls, I want to talk about a trip that I just got back from. I went out to Denver, Colorado. I spent 5 days out there. I drove out there this time, which I enjoyed the drive. I waited one day. The trip was delayed 24 hours because out in the prairie, they actually had a blizzard. And just based on what Rand Hood told me, I thought maybe it might be cautious just to chill out for one day. So I worked
Yeah.
on Greeley down here for one more day. Ed Dressel and his kids came over and we wrapped Greeley in oak. And the woodwork came out really nice on that. And later in the show, I'm going to explain exactly how that I did that so that you get a little bit of a how-to segment out of tonight's show. Not podcast. Did you hear that? I know it was Michelle Kempema's idea to change the name of the podcast to a show so that there would be
Yeah.
less confusion about it, because so many people associate a podcast with an audio-only type of a presentation, which we are going to do that. We've got all of the show's sound in my computer where we can upload this to Apple iTunes and actually create this as an audio-only podcast as well, which would be kind of fun to do. And Lionel String has agreed to help me do that and kind of show me how that, Audacity works
Yeah.
for programming, audio podcasts. So thank you very much, Lionel. I love you guys. We're all a family, and
That's right.
It's great that we all help each other out
Right.
because this is an interesting medium. This here internet, I must tell you, it's fascinating. So rock and roll on that. But the trip out to Colorado was magnificent. I will show you the blowing snow on my way in. It was just far out, being out in that prairie out there. Even on the second day out there, there was a residual drifts blowing across the highway. I saw more than 20 vehicles off the road. They were going to be sitting there all night. I saw 2 cars flipped over. It was a nightmare once I got into the snowpack part of the trip. But rock and roll, 4-wheel drive, and all the computer control of vehicles these days got me
That's
through
right.
it. And I ended up getting in Greeley about 2 a.m. So it was an easy drive. It was just, we're down to 25 miles an hour out in the highway out in the middle of nowhere. So it was amazing to get out to the layout because, Daniel, one thing that we talked about, and I was very interested in learning about at the museum out at Greeley, was how that layout is powered. Now, I always saw an NCE 5-amp system in the main area where the computer sits, but I never saw, was there more power systems than that to it? And it turns out that there's 19.
Oh, yes.
19 systems running that layout that they've got it broken up into sub-districts. And Steve Palmer and Randy Palmer, these are brothers. Both of these gentlemen help do the electronics. Really, Steve is more into the scenery aspect of it. What a great guy. And also Randy, his brother. Now, Randy designed all the electronics. He actually wrote the computer system that runs that layout by itself. And we've got a What's Neat This Week segment coming up in the February show where we're going to learn exactly how that system works. It's absolutely amazing how it can run 7 trains all at the same time. Daryl Ellis was also out there. We did podcast number 62 out there at the museum, and all these gentlemen explained the circuitry and the boards. I mean, all of the stuff where I got to watch the video 3 times just to understand it. But I think some of the stuff they've got are marketable products out there that would be great for all of us modelers. It's something that they should think about. It was absolutely amazing to be out there. Michelle Kempema took me to the Forney Museum. That's where they've got big boy number 4005. There's Michelle waving to us in the cab as I pan, and you start to see the car collection that they had in this museum. It was absolutely magnificent. Mike, buddy, I wish you were here because I never thought of a Gremlin as something that you would see in a museum, or even the Pacer, or the Buicks, or the Electras. I mean, it was beautiful to see these cars from the 70s on display now, as makes me feel old.
Right.
That's what that does. But thank you very much, Michelle, for showing me that museum. And we did a great interview out there. So a lot of good material has come from this trip out there. I think that's about all I had written down here. Tell me, Daniel, what have you been working on, and where did Joshua go?
I think he was coughing. He should be back in a minute.
Awesome. Daniel, you've been working on your layout. Tell us all about what you've been up to.
Well, on my Facebook page, I have updated, or I'm going to make also some video clips of a river scene I unfortunately don't like anymore, and it's more of a fuss than it is fun.
Is that the one that you showed us where you put the rocks on the bank?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm going to close that up.
That was great video when you did that back then.
I know, it was. And then another section of my layout, I'm also ripping out not ripping out, but putting foam into the pond, because now all of a sudden I figured out my curve, instead of being a 20-inch, it's actually 18. And that, of course, most locomotives I have won't run lower than a 20-inch. So I decided just going ahead and put 22-inch radius Atlas sectional track together, and then there's my curve. Also, as many of you guys know, the holidays have passed, and yeah, I got nothing but trains. But you know what? It's a wonderful Christmas.
What did you get? What's your most favorite thing you got this year, Daniel?
I was surprised. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I was surprised by a Broadway Limited Paragon 3 ES44 locomotive with their Rolling Thunder system, although I do have to buy the speaker. But the smoke is like, I'm starstruck.
That's awesome. Now, you were looking up some different smoke fluids tonight on the internet. What were you looking up, Daniel? What were you?
JT Mega Steam, they are an American company. They're out in Pennsylvania, because I ordered a smoke fluid bottle from them just last week, but they are basically making different scents. Like, they got several food scents. Look up their website, jtmegasteam.com. They've got like cherry, apples, and then they got other kind of fruit scents, and then they got some locomotive scents, like they got something called a Big Boy blend, which, as you know, 4014 is going to come out. So if Broadway Limited comes out with a model that smokes, there you go.
That's awesome. I love it. Hey, I talked to Pelly Solberg again. I think I'm going to try to schedule him for February, but I also understand that Campbell Rice has already made a pre-arrangement to interview him when he's in Chattanooga. I think sometime in May he's coming to this country. So rock and roll, it sounds like we've got it covered on both bases, because Campbell Rice is one of our roving reporters now for the What's Neat show. Mm-hmm. He's got his own camera now, and he's set up so that he can actually go and do these interviews, as his job takes him all over the Midwest. So thank you very much, Campbell Rice, for helping create what it is we do. Us simple modelers, we're not professionals. I know it looks like we got some good equipment here, and we do, but we're just modelers, and it's so much fun that we all contribute to just promoting. What a great hobby. Do I say that too much? I'll stop. On the table, I've got Korea Brass's wonderful track cleaning car. Now, the last time we had this on the show, you all saw me paint this car up in blue and yellow. I really kind of had fun with that one. And upon doing that, I think we talked about it 3 weeks in a row, they sold out. They completely sold out.
Wow.
They are now available and back in stock. So, guys, I have an idea if you guys are going to sell them out again. But these are magnificent. And this one's going to get painted up with flames. I think I'm going to do a little bit of racing flames on it, maybe blue and white, or I don't know yet, but I want to make it look dynamite, and I want to do something really cool with it. I'm also putting lights in the roof on this one. I want to make it flash if I can do that. And then this will be something that we were going to auction off to raise proceeds for the museum out in Colorado. Also, Tom Driggers has sent to us, and I don't have them on the table right now. We've got fine scale, George Celios's private road name for his fine-scale miniature Franklin and South Manchester layout. He's given 2 freight cars, one freight car to be displayed out at the museum in Greeley, permanently, and the other freight car, for the very first time ever, will be put on eBay for open auction. Now, as you recall, that freight car that we sold last week, that Patrick had done, beautiful job on that car with the What's Neat, picture of myself on it, which was great. That car sold for over $700, right at $700, and it got shipped out, and I insured it fully. But what a beautiful work of art! Thank you so much for doing your part to make this a great hobby for everybody. And the joy and the information that they share at that museum is absolutely fantastic. Upon being out there now for multiple trips, I'm learning a lot at what they're doing for their community and the hobby overall. I mean, really, that's our museum.
Yeah.
It's open for us, to learn, and it's all there to be had. So thank you very much, David Trussell, for your effort of creating that beautiful place out there in Greeley. What else do we have on the list, Joshua? How's the website doing, and how is the sales doing for your cups and mugs, and what else you got on your list?
Teespring is doing great. If you want to go to the website, it's teespring/stores/WNTW-Ken Patterson and check out our stuff. We're updating all the time. So there's that. And I want to just make sure everybody knows that you're watching this on YouTube. Right below this video here, there's a subscribe button. We need you to start subscribing because we're going to
subscribe. I never thought about that.
And then
now,
once you subscribe, there's a little bell. If you click the bell, you'll get notifications when we send anything out.
How about that?
And we're going to be giving away special giveaways this year.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how you're going to hear about the giveaways, and it's all going to be time sensitive, so you want to hit that bell so you have the right timing to get your stuff.
That is fantastic. Look forward to that. What else you got on your list, Joshua?
Actually, I have some new news. Rapido Trains is coming out with an EMD SW12, and they're doing 16 different schemes, and they are very nice, very detailed.
Oh, this is Rapido. Jason Schron.
That's right.
Yep.
I love him, and I
Yeah.
love his company. What a great man he is.
Yeah, their MSRP is $335 for the DCC and sound, and then $225 for the DC silent.
Ooh, I like the Missouri
So,
Pacific right
Yeah,
there.
that one's really
There you go.
nice.
Yes, I remember seeing those in Dupo, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
All
those
over.
when you were a kid?
Yeah.
I do vaguely, but yes,
Two different Rock
they had
Island
tons of them.
schemes, two different Penske schemes. Yeah.
I love new news. What else you got on
Yeah.
your list? Anything else, Joshua?
I want to talk about Facebook. You need to like us on Facebook too.
the new Facebook page
Yeah.
for the What's Neat
What's Neat this
week.
That's right.
Because my Facebook page only ends at 5,000 people, and they won't let me have any more.
yeah, you're,
So we've
you're
created that
maxed
one
out.
so that we could have
Correct.
more folks.
So
but
make sure you like us there and check out all of our stuff on there.
that's fantastic. Now, tell me what else you've been working on, Daniel, besides work every day. I know you got a lot going on.
Well, like I just said, just a little progress in the layout here and there, just changing up a few things.
Now, aren't you guys getting ready to start up your Steam Up out there? When does that program start again?
Oh, the St. Louis Live Steamers.
right,
We are
because I know you're involved in that.
Yes, and I'm a full member, so that means I could be an engineer. But we are starting in mid-April. So April to October of this year, our stlouislivesteamers.org. Go visit our website, and we do have the run days posted. So on
Yep,
those
there'll
run
be-
days,
There'll be 6
There you
this
go.
year.
mm-hmm. 6.
I tell you what, I've got some tank cars on the table here from Bachmann. These are some brand new road names in their 40-foot HO scale line of tank cars. I've got the British American and Oil Ltd. company here. I've also got the GM Huber Inc. tank car and the American Maze Products Company tank cars. Again, these are brand new paint schemes. You can find these in the Bachmann 2019 catalog after we come out with it. I've got the K4 on the table. The reason I'm smiling is I've still got to shoot the cover for that, and I've got actually a couple of more weeks to do that project. So I'm going through all my Howard Fogg books and all the various art books that I like to refer to for creating prototype photos. Because think about it, an artist has already moved the telephone poles and all the trees to the right position. So the compositions all had there to be had.
That's right.
So we'll do something really beautiful with this Penske engine. I'm thinking possibly maybe some fog. It's on the cover of the book, so it's something that everybody's going to look at, and I just think a little extra effort on something like that would really kind of make it pop. Also, if you look on the table here, and I'm going to launch right into this is going to be an edit right here. I've got a margarita glass on the table.
Shaken, not stirred.
Inside the glass, we've got Colorado dirt. Yes, rock and roll. Just like that. So this is for the Greeley module, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what's going on the progress on that. I did allude to the fact that Ed Dressel and his kids came over and helped me wrap that in oak. And then after the oak is wrapped and it's wet, I want to go back a step first. How do I attach the oak to the foam side of the layout? Now think about that. The oak adds stability to the overall module because it prevents flexing, especially if you're only going modules 4 inches wide. The plywood prevents things from flexing. It's lightweight, it's thin. But what I do is I take a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch router bit and I'll router out the foam about a 1/2 of an inch deep. And then I'll take 1x4 stock material and I'll cut this all up. And then I lay it inside the groove that we routered out. And by gluing these blocks of wood in with Gorilla Glue, the glue expands, fills any gaps that are in the foam between the wood and the foam. And these blocks of wood are held in tight. That adds stability to the overall attachment of the plywood, because what I do is I also glue the plywood on with the Gorilla Glue onto the side of the foam, and then I also staple it, come through, fill with wood putty, and then of course I polyurethane the sides of this diorama. And this one came out really beautiful. It's a 8-foot section and a 6-foot section, so it's pretty long curvature on this diorama with 3 coats of polyurethane sanded with 2000 grit sandpaper in between coats, so the diorama's got a glass smooth feel to it when you run your hands along the side of it. So now we've got our canvas ready to go. I've done all the measuring with laser tools, roller wheels, and every other tool that I use to measure prototype locations exactly, while the satellite images give me all of my plotted dimensions, which I've plotted out onto the foam exactly, and by going out there I simply double-checked my work and was happy to find out I was only off by 6 inches anywhere. But the fact is, once you get it plotted, it doesn't give you your elevation dimensions. So that's why I had to go to Greeley, was to measure the height of the train station and the museum building and the Outback building and all this and that. The Outback building will eventually be torn down when the expansion's built, so I've got it removable on the model. So all I got to do now is get a saw for cutting plexiglass, because mine broke, and get some plexiglass and start cutting all of this. I got real dirt. I got everything we need to have this thing built in about a month. That's the goal.
That's awesome.
So rock and roll on that edit.
Yeah.
If you just saw all those video clips, that was a how-to on the What's Neat This Week show, just like everybody loves to see. Is there anything else we've got? We're at 19 minutes, and that's well within the divide of what we could do. Jeff, you got anything else you want to cover tonight?
Yeah, there was the one more freight car out there. That is a all new model from Tangent Scale Models. You remember our buddy David. It's a PS 4427. A lot of you probably remember the Proto 2000 did that 10, 20 years ago, but this is a much updated version, all wire metal grabs and all that stuff. But I believe I forget all the paint schemes. I know there was CNEI, that's the one you see here, and I started weathering that side. They also did Rock Island, PV Grain, I believe a Santa Fe, and a TP&W, but that's what I've been working on. I just need to finish the other side now, but it's as expected, any car from Tangent, it's phenomenal.
It's awesome. I love all that piping detail on the end. It's just absolutely magnificent.
He always knocks it out of the park.
You know what? Yeah, he does. And I haven't had him on the last 2 Prototype Modelers meets. I don't know that I interviewed him for those shows, and I'd like to catch up with him and find out what's going on.
Yep, definitely.
Tangent Scale Models. Now, Joshua, I understand that you and I did a trade for Christmas. Anna got some doll houses and some beautiful furniture.
That's right.
And you got the entire narrow gauge layout that was going up to the center of the studio of the basement here.
I sure did.
I love it. That was the best trade I ever made. You made
know,
Anna smile.
I think so too.
I love it. So I don't have to finish that. Now we've got space to build our trade show, What's Neat This Week show, trade show booth, so that we can take the show live out on the road or just take it out and record the show on the road, which was a big step. Going to Colorado this week proved that our portable equipment does work. We had fantastic sound on 4 different sound bars, so everything's adjustable. So I really like what we can do now so far. So when we set up at an NMRA show or we set up at a Prototype Modelers meet, we can actually do a comprehensive presentation now with quality, content, and production values.
Right.
Live on location.
How
Live
far-
on
Patterson.
location, giveaways
That's right.
live.
That's
Yeah, it would
right.
be great.
How far we have
Studio
come
audience.
in 9 months. Just in 9 months, from a single microphone on a table to, quality production values. It makes a big difference. I also want to thank, I don't know what's up with the beginning of this year, but the first couple of days of this year, KenPatterson.com, I had a flurry of activity. I sold a bunch of videos this week. So thank you very much to all the folks that buy those videos. If you have any questions, email me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you've got about any video content that we make. And there was one video that I wanted to ask you. What was the month that I made the video where I made roads? Do you remember that, Daniel?
September 2016.
I don't know how he remembers that, but that was one of the more comprehensive how-to videos on how to do things like that.
Do we ever check if Daniel's right or he's just throwing out random?
You know what?
I mean,
Last time he did, I was right.
Okay. All right. We need to start spot checking.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
right.
What, so you don't trust me or something?
I was just saying, we need to trust but verify.
Okay.
I love you guys. Look at that award. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I mean, hello. I love it. All right, so you're working on your layout. I've seen it.
Yep.
And you are starting to build a layout, Jeff. I would say Daniel's ahead of both you guys right
Yes.
now.
Correct.
Because he
Okay.
can run them.
Yeah.
What's going to be the next step for you, Jeff, to getting this layout set up?
Well-
You've got an open basement and you're starting to finish it, right?
There's still a lot of junk there. We need to make room. There's still
Make
a lot to
room,
go.
that's
But
right.
I was just talking with Austin and some of the other guys. Maybe once we get the room, maybe some weekend or something, a few of the guys come over and help me with the bench work. I don't have the greatest tools or the greatest carpentry skills either. So maybe want to get to that point, get the materials bought some weekend or something like that. A bunch of guys come over and help me get something set up for him and his little brother. Because the Bachmann Easy Track, as good as it works, it's just on the concrete floor. It's getting a
Yeah.
little old. So
Now, Joshua, yours is built in sort of your office and it's around the room shelf layout. What's your next step? How far are you away from doing scenery?
Well, I'm about 90% done with my bench work. I'm about 50% done with my track laying. So I hope by March or April I have some scenery that's going up. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Jeff, you said you got to see the George Bush locomotive. I understand it's making the rounds here locally.
So after the funeral train ran, I don't know all the exact locations, but I remember reading it. So I believe it was after the funeral, they got the 1943, which is the Spirit of Union Pacific engine, the silver, the one that Atherton just came out with. Then they've also got the 4141. It's been in front of it. But either way, I believe it originally went to Omaha. It was on display there for a few days. Then they've been moving it just in manifest or freight, just regular freight service. It went to Chicago. It was there for a few days. Then it came south into St. Louis, technically Dupo, and it was there for 3, 4, 5 days. We went over and saw it. A bunch of people did. Most every rail fan in St. Louis went and saw
It draws a crowd.
And, oh yeah,
It does.
Then it went from there. It went down to Pine Bluff on Saturday morning, and from there, I'm not 100% sure. He's right. He's right. It was originally supposed to be. He's right. It was originally supposed to be. It left on a Pine Bluff
Yeah.
train, but then they had to move it over to Little Rock to be on display. And from there, I think it's kind of going through the Southwest, and it's eventually going to come back through North Platte, and then I thought someone said one of the final places it'll be Kansas City. So it's kind of making a big loop out West California, up back around, and then roughly end at Kansas City or whatever. And then it's supposed to be permanently on display at the George Bush Library in
Yeah,
Texas.
that's
where-
awesome.
Wow.
I
Will
think
be
that's
retired.
confirmed. They're gonna pull the engine out of it, and then it'll just be on display there. So if it's coming to your location, you better go see it within the next year, or however soon it's gonna be.
Yep.
That's fantastic. All right, gentlemen, we're coming up on time. This is the What's Neat of this week's show, number 61. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us this evening. And this is the best hobby in the world, and you all make it that way. I've got the best crew to work with here, guys. I love you guys. I love working with you, Austin Allard, all the guys out there that always help. Thank you so much for what we do, guys. So let's end this one, and let's go run some trains, all right?
Oh, that's nice, Connor. I like that.
It's a 7-player radio use.
Hey, here's where it's at, man.
Yeah.
I gotta add the PTC farm on top.
No, if you want the incandescent sound, I can use an LED one.
That's a cool graffiti on the side.
I like the hello, my name is. That's so cool. Well, you get some long chains
I don't know.
Oh,
That's how it's supposed to be.
Is it really?
Slack stretch.
Where did you get those? I gotta get these.
They're
Grab a 10.